Ha, 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 ha. It's Wednesday. Y'all know what time it is. We back again. It's the Bold Prediction Sports Media Podcast. And once again, before I give proper introductions, we coming to you with humility. As always, thank y'all for rocking with us. He's Mr. KC. He's in the 813. I'm that dude with the beard. Mr. KC, as always, it's good to see you, my brother. What we got on the slate today?
Well, folks, you know what it is. We got some NFL picks for the week,
Mm,
including some little gambling favorites.
mm.
We've got the bold top seven.
Whew.
I think we're going to touch on some playoffs and possibly a little MVP conversation. You know, it's going to be that time of the year. Games are running light.
They
You only
are.
got 4 weeks, four
Hmm.
weeks left to make it. Let's
Man,
talk about it.
let's do it because there's a couple of games I'm excited to talk about. A game that I talked about a couple of, well, 3 weeks ago that I thought was coming earlier than what it should have until you reminded me of further news. But I will touch on that when we get to it, but you probably remember. Um, First and foremost, folks. We here, it's Wednesday. As usual, we're gonna be here on Saturday. We got another show coming up here. It's gonna be packed as usual here, jam packed with information. We're gonna touch on everything here, and we definitely got more wrestling information coming at you here too. We've seen it. Y'all asking for it. It's coming. Mr. KC, to dive right on into what I've dubbed the annual Jeff Bezos Bowl, the Thursday night Amazon Prime package to your front door game of the week. The Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots.
Woohoo. And
And
then,
ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I was almost inclined to let you have it because you was ready, but I've got to do it. I got to talk to the folks for a moment. Y'all know how I feel about this New England team. I rode with them in the beginning, tapered off, came back, tapered off, came back. But now they're finally doing the things that I've been saying they should have been doing. And Lord, they still have a shot at the playoffs in the AFC East. Folks, just witness what we're seeing. That's all I'm saying. I'm not making no guarantees because them winning the division is gone. That's out the door unless catastrophic events happen. But in this
I wouldn't
game
have
right
choice.
here, to get to the moment y'all been waiting for, I am picking the New England Patriots over the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have not seen this Patriot team all season. The defense in New England is real now. It's real. It's stifling. It's a good defense. The record might not support it, but the record might support it because they're on their way back. They're 6-5. We're not going to treat the Patriots like they're a sub 500 team. We've seen that Buffalo knows how to lose the big one, and they haven't won a conference game yet. I mean, not a conference game. Let me correct myself, folks. They haven't won a division game yet, and I don't think it's going to start tomorrow. I think New England's going to come in, take care of business, get to 7-5, and continue they push toward the playoffs because they only have 5 losses, ladies and gentlemen, and there's only two behind Buffalo. You get Buffalo L tomorrow, and we're on the way to my week 1 prediction that Buffalo ain't even making the playoffs. Mr. KC, who do you got going into this one, my man?
Well, it's the prime time bowl, and they delivered a prime time toilet fest. What an ugly game for a Thursday. I'm actually riding with the Bills here. I know you're a Patriots
Mm.
fan this season, and we've tried to get you off the train. I don't. They just don't have enough offense. You know, Buffalo also has a somewhat good defense, and I would expect the Bills to walk away with this one. I do like some of your points, though. They haven't won any division game. You know, they are stinking it up. And it's wild to think the Patriots are actually only 2 games back in this division from the Bills. You know, but this is Miami's division to win. And I think the Bills know that, and they want any chance, they got to win. and I think it's a bigger game for the Bills. And I'm going to ride with that boy Josh Allen. I said boy for a reason.
I already know he's a young man. He's a child. But I hear you. My only thing is New England, they've already swept one division opponent. Um, you got Miami twice. If you can beat them twice and beat Miami once, I'm just saying. I'm just gonna leave
Yeah.
it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, next game we got on the slate, we're gonna dive right into Sunday. We got the lock your doors, lock your windows, close your curtains, because Pittsburgh's coming to town, and they're facing the Atlanta Falcons. And Mr. KC, I will divert to you. Who do you have going into this matchup?
An another ugly game.
This is ugly.
Who was playing the Falcons again? What was the who was going to win this game?
Oh, mm,
It's
mm.
you can't go with the
The
Falcons
lock,
in it.
the lock your doors, lock your windows, and close your blinds. Pittsburgh has come to town tonight.
Yeah, it's not often I pick Pittsburgh, but it's a pretty
It
easy
might
pick
be the
on this
first
week.
time you've ever done it.
I think I've I think I've got a couple of them this year, but I don't think I got any of them right. So anytime I pick the Steelers, seems to be the wrong week to do it. I'm looking to break that trend this week, and I just the Falcons are a feisty team, but I the AFC North and Tomlin, you get a little coaching advantage. Maybe not too many player advantages for the Steelers versus the Falcons, but if all else fails, I'm going to lean on Tomlin to pull out a scrappy win.
Yeah, and I agree with you totally. Moving forward on that here, and folks, he said it might not be the first time. I think it's the first time he's picked the Steelers. I've been trying to boil it down in my mind. We'll have to review the footage, but if not, you heard it here for the first time, maybe. So I want to be on the right side of history either way. Hey, the next game we got here, uh, which is should be a rout. If you want to talk about a team who ain't prepared to play the team they're about to face, we have the oh dang, what state is that? What city? Goodness gracious, it's so trash. Oh, the Denver Broncos versus the Baltimore Ravens. And ladies and gentlemen, I would give just the first ever, even though we've had plenty of them, unanimous pick where I just say something on behalf of Mr. KC, but I'm not going to do that because it's Denver. I'm going to give him his piece, but I know where this is going. There's no way in life these Denver Broncos are about to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Like, it's over and done. Like I don't even want to jump into details as to why Baltimore would win. If y'all watch football, you know. Mr. KC.
I'm just going to say it simply. The Broncos would be winning the division if they scored 18 points a game. Not even, and they don't even have to average it. We can take away the average. If they just scored 18 a few times, they'd be a whole different team. This is one of the easiest. Put money on the money line for the Ravens. Just take them straight outright, and enjoy that free money. It's not going to pay a lot. It's not worth wasting our time. This is easily let's ride Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. And moving on here to a game that is surprisingly turned from a sure win for me on one side to now it might be a contest. We got the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. And going into this game, I had Chicago winning this game easily. But I think Jordan is going to bring another element to this game that Ron hasn't been bringing, and we're gonna see. I think it might be a shootout. I think it might be the regime change that the Packers been long needing, and maybe you start fresh with a young quarterback and a rookie receiver who's starting to come on at the end of the season. But with all that said, I'm going with the Chicago Bears because Justin Fields isn't going to lose this game either way. I'm going to stick with what my heart told me in the beginning, and I'm going with the Chicago Bears. because I just think overall, yeah, they've lost some games, but I still think they're the better team than the Green Bay. I'm going with Chicago, folks. I don't know any other way to paint it. Mr. KC.
Yeah, this is a matchup with two banged up quarterbacks too. If you really think about it, Fields missed last week, and I'm not sure what Aaron Rodgers is doing with his thumb. We might have seen his last game and whatnot. That
Right.
being said,
And a rib. He got
A
everything.
Rod has owned the Chicago Bears, and for whatever reason, probably the rivalry, A Rod shows up for these games. He loves to destroy. If there's a team he can choose to beat, it is the Chicago Bears. So I think he's going to put down the peace pipe this week and smoke up the Chicago Bears instead.
Mm. So you think he's gonna play?
I'm not sure, but I still kind of like. I'd like to see a little Jordan Love action. I wouldn't mind see
And
him throwing the rock.
that's the bowl I'm waiting for. I think the AA Ron project is over. He got y'all one bowl. It was almost 10 years ago, if not 10 years ago. I think
Plus
it's
the
time to
fact,
move on.
yeah,
Yeah, I just think it's time to move on. Move on to your young guy, man. That's why you went and got him anyway.
right.
Next game we got on the slate here, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh my goodness, versus the Detroit Lions. And now you want to talk about two teams that we was both high on this season, and dude, Jacksonville got a win that was unprecedented, and I think they win two in a row, and they beat these Detroit Lions. I think they just keep it rolling. Uh, the prince, the prince that is future to be promised, Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, I'm still high on him. And now once full stability is finally in Jacksonville, I really think they're going to be a formidable squad. Um, I'm not even going to keep going on that, Mister KC. Who you got going in this one?
Well, this is an interesting matchup because the Lions have been a feisty team all season. If you've been paying attention all season, you know that I should have gave up on the Lions a long time ago. I'm going to take my own advice and give up on them again this week and pick the
Mhm.
Jags. Look, the Lions have had a feisty offense. They can score some points in bunches. That being said, the Jags are a well balanced team, and they've been using those early first round draft picks to build this team, and they've been
Hey,
doing it kind of successfully. Give me the Jags in this one. It's just the right move.
it is, and I don't blame you at all. And like I said, the season might be done, but they have a lot of opportunity. Almost, man. I'm not gonna say
It's
they're gonna
hard to
win
say
out.
it's
Right, exactly. You're moving to the point I was gonna make. It's hard to say that they're done. 'Cause like I said, they only have 7 losses. If they can manage to win out, barring I have to look at your schedule and see, but we'll see. I think this is
yeah.
the week that they go to 5-7. So
Yeah,
we'll
and
see.
sadly in the South, that could win it.
That could
That's
win it. The
you don't
Titans lost
know.
the game that they should have won easily, just like last year in the offs. So it's just something about this Bengals team that these Titans don't like. And we'll move on to that when we talk in the future conversation. Um, Next game we got on the slate, a game that I've been waiting for, a game that I've talked about that I thought was going to happen earlier. I touched on earlier in the show here. We finally have the Deshaun Watson Bowl, the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. And Mr. KC, I will let you have the floor on this one, my man. Where are you going?
We'll talk about giving Watson an easy game for that comeback, right? The Texans. It'll be interesting to see what Watson does. We haven't seen this man in going on 2 years now.
Man,
That's a long, long, long time. Um, I'll be excited to watch him play. I wish he was against a tougher team to really kind of test what he's got. But
right.
this is the Browns by a mile, and I would also take the money line on the Browns.
Yeah, because outside of that, I'm going with the Browns too, folks. Outside of that, I mean, the run game has clearly shown me that it's more than enough to beat Houston. especially who they beat last week with it. So, this is like you said, watch the money line for it's an easy bet. If you got an extra $30, go ahead and make you a little 200 on this game. You know what I'm saying? It ain't too much, but go ahead and get that. Why not? You know, yeah, Cleveland all day in this one. Goodness gracious. Now this next game here, it has the Paytons and the Makins, all the essentials and the tools to be a slobber knocker, but we gonna see. We have the New York Football Jets. You notice how to mix that up. Jets, 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 Jets. I'm still in New York in the season. Versus though the Kings in the North, the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm so torn with this pick. I've still been stewing it over, folks, up until the point of this moment where I knew I had to be on the line and make a pick, and I would be crazy not to continue to ride with the Kings of the North. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings here over the New York Jets. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because Kirk Cousins knows that he needs to continue to get some wins, especially after having another L, if they're going to get these Eagles out that first position. Either way, I think the Eagles going to lose to whoever they faced in the first round if they continue to win out. But I doubt that. I doubt they only get one L on the season. If they do, it's remarkable because you've had the easiest schedule in NFL history.
Right.
You should have went perfect. Um, but I'm going with Kirk Cousins in this game and the Jets. I still don't believe and I'm a Jets believer, but I still believe Zach Wilson should be playing quarterback. That's another conversation for another time. But Mr. KC, who do you got going into this game?
Yeah, you have the Jets with a backup quarterback, Mike White, who's played. He had a decent week last week. That's why you're still seeing Zach Wilson on the bench. But that, like you said, it's the Kings of the NFC North for a reason. I'm riding with the Vikings on this one. This I was actually afraid you were going to go with the Jets for just a moment. There was just a moment I was like, is he going to do it? But I'm
Mm.
glad. Yeah, it's the Vikings. It's King of the North. Crown them.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. I do like these Jets, especially I like them in their division because of what they did to Buffalo, and then all they got to do is have another L, and that's another reason why Buffalo won't make the playoffs, folks. But that's another story for another time. Next game we got here, which is another one that I'm torn over because of my not newfound, but my thorough backing of this team now. It's the Washington Commanders versus the New York Football Giants. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got to let Mr. KC go first because I still don't know who to pick. Mr. KC, who do you got going into this one?
Yeah, and this is one of those sneaky, underrated game of the weeks,
Oh
in my
man,
opinion.
slobber
There's a couple of games that I prefer over this one, but it is a highly rated, must-watch kind of game. And I'll probably keep an eye on this one while I'm watching. I'm actually going to lean with the Giants on this one. Commanders have been super feisty. The Giants are kind of banged up, which makes you slightly nervous. But this is a playoff seeding game,
It
a
is.
playoff kind of deciding game.
It is.
I think it's a bigger win for the Giants, but the Commanders could pull this off. They've been on a run. But with that said, I'm leaning Giants.
And I hear you on that. And then when I look at this matchup, you got two 7-win teams. And I'm just like, goodness gracious. Most folks outside of me, unless you live in Washington, would have never thought the Commanders would be here, and that's why I'm almost feeling the spirit to keep riding with them. But I could say the same thing about the Giants. I've been riding with them all season because folk wouldn't believe they would be here. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the most torn I've ever been in the game because y'all know if y'all been watching, I've thoroughly backed these teams. And in this game here, man, it's so hard to pick, but this win needs to happen for the New York Giants because if they don't win this game, it would almost pretty much put them almost out of playoff contention. Not almost, but they'd be on the doorstep. It'd be a fifth loss in a tough division. Um, you got to look at wild card seedings. I just think New York needs it more. Washington can still make it if they lose this game. Like the door is still open for them. So
Right.
I gotta go with New York, and it hurts me to say it because I both of these teams, like, dude, if it could
Th-
end in a tie and they both could get proper playoff seed, I'd rather have that happen. But
Right.
I
Yeah,
gotta,
me too,
yeah,
actually.
goodness
And
gracious,
and the Commanders could pull it off too. Even though
they
we both
could.
picked the Giants, I think we both have like I would not put a
I
dollar
would
towards this
not.
game.
I would not. I would leave it alone because, ladies and gentlemen, it can really go either way. It really could. And then these Commanders are serious. Little Heineke, he's doing it. Like I can't argue with results. So
Right.
next game we got here, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going with the Eagles in this game because the Titans have proved to me they cannot beat a playoff caliber team. They just cannot do it. They ran into Kansas City, took an L, lost a horrible game to Cincinnati that they should have ran away with. And I just think in my mind, there's no way they're going to beat this Eagles team. Not while they're flying the way they're flying. Mr. KC.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised you went with the Eagles here. You've been high on the Titans for a little bit, and they're a quality team. And I would say the Eagles haven't played a lot of those kind of teams. And I'm
Hmm.
actually picking the Titans for that reason. Look, if you look at that Eagles schedule, there's no good wins in that whole period. All of them are backup quarterback type deals and whatnot. There's not a quality win on the record, and I don't think the Titans are going to be a quality
Well,
loss
Dallas. Did they beat Dallas?
with a backup quarterback. They did
Yeah.
with when that old Cooper Rush guy that we
Hey,
haven't talked about in the
they was
several
flying high
several
on
weeks.
Cooper.
Yeah, till they got to the Eagles.
Right, right.
Right. I wish the Titans had a. I'd feel better if they had better quarterback play and maybe a wide receiver option or two.
Man.
But I'm looking for Derrick Henry to step up against this. It's a pretty big defense for the Eagles too. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see if they can. But I'm leaning towards the Titans.
That Eagles line is fortified, man. We we gonna see. It might be a tough one for Derek because, dude, how could you not put up 250 on the ground versus the Bengals? But anyway, next game we got on the slate here, we got the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Rams. And ladies and gentlemen, Geno Smith gets another win here this weekend. Uh, 813 James. Ooh,
No Bucks
ooh,
fan. I hate to break the bad news. I happen to live in the Tampa area, but I've spent a decade plus in the Kansas City area of my life. And I've been a Chiefs fan since 93, 94 when I was old enough to really watch football. So it's a long time Chiefs fan.
yeah, you can't argue with that. I mean, where you are is where you are, and what
Right.
captivates you. But
I just enjoy the sand and the sun,
right,
not these Buccaneers.
right, no. Tampa Bay is going to the bowl though. Like I said, they're still my NFC pick. We'll talk about that because Pat got one more thing to do with Tom, and Tom got one more job left in the NFL before he get that announcer money. But we'll talk about that later. Geno Smith though is winning this game, folks. Seahawks all day in this. The Rams just aren't the Super Bowl team that won it last year, and you see what they look like without that plot armor. So, Mr. KC, who do you got going into this one?
What was the matchups for me one more time?
The Seattle Seahawks versus the Rams.
Oh, that's right. The Hawks versus the Rams. Well, this is a pretty easy game because the Rams have ran away with some garbage time, and they've been a terrible team. So I'm going to go with Seahawks. Give me Geno Smith. They've been rocking pretty hard in that NFC West, and I think it's a tough game for them to overcome. I think this would be Maybe if the Rams were healthy and whatnot, they'd have a good. This would be a good matchup. But with the way the Rams are playing at this point in the season, easy to go with the Hawks.
without a doubt. Especially the way Gino's been playing. Like I said, granted the recent loss, but LA's been on a losing streak, so there's that. Next game we got here, afternoon slate here, which might be one of the games of the week, followed by, well, at the same time as the game of the week, in my opinion. You got the Miami Dolphins versus the San Francisco 49ers. And ladies and gentlemen, the San Francisco 49ers are winning this game. Miami, I don't think they're ready for what San Fran is going to do to them. We're going to see Miami versus a quality team, and would be the only way that Buffalo could be mentioned in a playoff. Like I said, they got to keep talking about them here until they actually have this Patriot loss. So once they lose to the Patriots, they'll have 4 L's. Miami will lose to the 49ers. They'll have 4 L's. The AFC East is interesting again. But ladies and gentlemen, the Niners have this win, and I just can't see no other way. Garoppolo.
Yeah, I don't understand what I got to do to finally get you on this bandwagon. I try everything I can, and it just doesn't happen. I've tried all season to get you on the Miami bandwagon. I've picked every game they've got right, and I'm going to do it again this week by picking
So
the
far,
Dolphins. Yeah, look,
hey,
this is
well,
a great game.
hey, one quick question, man.
hmm
Tua better than Jimmy G?
Yeah, without a question of a doubt.
Tua been to the Super Bowl?
No, no, he hasn't
Has
been in
Jimmy
the
G been
league
to the Super
long
Bowl?
enough. He has, he has, and he's
He
won
Tua,
playoff
Tua,
games and
Tua hasn't
whatnot.
been in the league long enough. It all
He
takes
hasn't been
one
in the league
season.
long enough. Not with
Mm,
those garbage Dolphins teams he's
I
had
just want
around
to
him.
ask. I just want to ask. Go ahead. Go on with your Miami point. I want to hear it. Go ahead, Miss Casey.
Yeah, but I do agree with you. This will be a fireworks show and whatnot. You know, you're gonna see it, but who's keeping up with this offense outside of Kansas City? Nobody. Miami
The
Dolphins have a
Kansas
quality
City in the
defense.
NFC. The 40, I've been saying it for 3 weeks. The Kansas City Chiefs in the NFC. Tell
Uh,
tell tell we got to talk about it just real quick. Tell me where 49ers are lacking in this game, because they almost look better.
well, one at quarterback, and two, they don't have the wide receiver core
Quarterback.
at the quarterback. We'll start off with the important parts. Remind me who has a better QBR this season, who has more yards, who you like every stat that we're gonna point
Well,
to,
that's
we're gonna
because,
say
like
Tua.
well, I'm gonna use your point from earlier. Jimmy G didn't get to play long enough this season. It was a Trey Lance project.
True, true, but Tua's missed a couple games as well. You know,
He
there was a
has,
period
and
of time
they have terrible losses,
yeah,
and them, yeah. He's
but
undefeated since he's been
Tua
playing.
doesn't actually have a loss in a
No,
game
that's
that
what I'm
he
saying. He's
started and
undefeated.
finished.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
yeah. And it's going to be a great matchup. This is a fireworks show. This is why this game gets a little extra time because
Hmm.
it's one of those games where you can go both ways. You know, you can look at both sides. You know, Miami doesn't have a Kittle. You know, where's their tight end at?
Man,
And 49ers have a running back advantage with CMC, you
man,
know. But you know what outweighs CMC?
what?
That dude Tyreek Hill, that
Debo back.
monster, that dude that's leading the league in receiving yards, and then you got that Waddle. You know the Dolphins are the only team with two number one wide receivers,
That's
and
cool.
you give them that. This is a look.
We're gonna see. We're gonna,
I might even spot the 49ers like 6.5. So Miami's got to
what?
win by a touchdown. This is
Please.
how confident I am
That
in
pass
this Dolphins
that
team.
pass rush is about to that 49er defense is serious. I don't even know why you acting like
It's a
it's not.
quality defense,
We're
but
gonna,
so is
like I
the
said,
Dolphins.
we're gonna see. Let me ask you. Well, no, let me not, because this is a question to answer itself. So I'm not even gonna do it, folks. But no, I'm gonna ask this question then. So what you're telling me, well, let me just think about it. In your mind, there's no team that could blow the doors off Miami's offense unless it's Kansas City. You really don't think that
Yeah,
the NFC Chiefs, the Niners, couldn't do it?
no, no, I don't see
Okay,
it. I just don't see it.
okay.
It is easily the second best offense in the league when healthy. When you got Tua back there, all your weapons, their wide receiver and whatnot. It's the easily the second best offense.
And you know what? And I would hate to. No, I'm not even gonna do it. So the next game we got on the slate is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And ladies and gentlemen, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. The Bengals are gonna bangle, and the Chiefs are gonna win this game. Patrick Mahomes is not losing to Joe Burrow again. Like as far as few in between, Joe Burrow is only anointed because he beat Patrick Mahomes. And like Mr. KC said last week, that just seems to be the ticket. You want to be elite, beat Patrick Mahomes one time. We'll go ahead and throw you in there. Here it is.
Yep.
It's not happening this week. Kansas City is going to come in. They're going to shut the door, hit them in the mouth, and that's what it is. We got a different defense. The pass rush is relentless. The best pass rush I've seen since we had Jared Allen. And anyway, we ain't going to talk about that. I wish Justin Houston was still here. Long story short, folks, I'm going Chiefs. Mr. KC's going Chiefs, but let's hear him talk about it, sir.
Well, that's a pretty accurate prediction there.
Boldest one yet.
Boldest one yet. I actually can't quite figure out how you knew I was going with the Chiefs on this one. Um,
Speculation.
yeah, I think it's
Rumblings.
important.
Heard a few rumblings.
Right. Yeah, you check Twitter, don't you?
I
You
do.
follow bold predictions on Twitter.
I
That's what it
do.
is.
And folks, you need to too. Bold Prediction Sports Media on Twitter. Give us a follow. Yes, sir. I do follow. But Mr. Casey,
Yeah, I think it's important for Pat Mahomes to get that monkey off his back with Joe Burrow. This is that only young quarterback that's kind of had his number. And I don't know why it's happened, but I don't think it's going to happen for long. And I think this is kind of a runaway for Kansas City. I think they'll step on the gas for this game. If there's one team they want to blow out this
it's the
season, it
Bengals.
is the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm going to just go ahead, since it's an obvious thing, let's go ahead and give a little score prediction. And I see a very 38-24 kind of matchup in this game. I think the Chiefs are really gonna it's gonna be some garbage time numbers for
For
it to look that
Cincinnati.
close.
That's what I say. I had the Chiefs in a 40 ball on this one. In my soul,
Good.
I thought you was about to say that too, but 35 isn't bad. I got the Chiefs by 17, at least. At
Yeah.
least. Have to
I
in
think
this
they
game.
come out
I,
heavy on
I
this
I
game.
was almost right on the last game. I said 14. It was 15-5. So I was off a little bit. But like I said, dude, the Bengals are gonna bangle. And Pat is gonna come in, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if Jody Fortson have 2 touchdowns on these Bengals this year. So
Ooh.
we'll see.
Ooh.
I've been watching because we got to see who's gonna step up. I think Juju has a big game too. We'll see though. The next game we have here, another afternoon slate that nobody's gonna watch because it really doesn't matter. It's the excuse me, folks. It's the I had to come because it's that much trash. Hold on, folks. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me. It's the Los Angeles Chargers, folks, against the Las Vegas Raiders. You can't get more garbage time bowl than when the Raiders played the Broncos last. I I almost didn't even want to pick this game because I really just don't even care. But I think the Chargers will win this game just because the Raiders are that bad. But the Raiders might mess around and win because the Chargers are just that bad. So it's like, how do you pick this game, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Latoya Luck, and I'm torn in between the two because they both trash and deserve to be set on fire. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Why not? At least they're in more games than what Vegas are in. Mr. Casey.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised you went with the Chargers. Not that it actually matters. I'm right there with you. This game is ugly, and it's really just to decide who's the dumpster in the West. And I'm actually riding with the Raiders on this one. Look, for whatever reason, Derek Carr seems to outperform Herbert when they play each other.
It's no
The
secret.
Raiders
He's
have
the
been
better
kind of
quarterback.
rolling. Yeah, and it's crazy to say. It's wild. oh, oh,
Yeah.
that just might be might just be true.
I'm trying to tell
It's sad.
Oh,
Yeah, but I think the Raiders have been clicking, and I think the Chargers have been falling off. So I think the Chargers probably maybe have the better team, but I think I'm going to ride with momentum and go with the Raiders.
and you know what? Both these teams so trash, Mr. KC. I'm not even mad with that pick. As y'all know, I thought the Raiders was going to be a firm wild card this season. I just knew it, but obviously
Yeah,
not. My worst prediction of the season. We'll have a segment on that too, but they're up there with the Colts in my opinion. People I thought who had a real shot at playoff football. We'll see, but it's a good pick for a trash bowl. I give you that, Mr. KC. Uh, uh,
right.
Next game we got here, speaking of trash, team I was just talking about, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Dallas Cowboys. And ladies and gentlemen, if you got an extra $60, extra $65, head to your local betting establishment if it's legal in your state and put all that on Dallas. Because they're going to blow the doors off these Colts. And if you just need to turn 60 to a quick little 220, you can do that. Do it. Feed your kids. Buy that extra thing, whatever you was trying to do. This is the time to do it. Dallas is going to blow the doors off the Colts. The Jeff Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever his last name is, this experiment is coming to a screeching halt when they face these Dallas Cowboys. Mr. KC, I see you. What you got for me?
Yeah, this is the dim boys defense.
I'm
This is
trying
a, this is an ugly game for the Colts. There's not a lot of teams whose defense makes me scared,
I'm
and
trying
the
to tell you.
Cowboys qualify hardcore. Yeah, I agree with you. You put your money on the Cowboys, you could probably find like a Dak for an anytime score.
Man.
I would probably look for a Pollard anytime score. Like you can really put some money together on this game. It's going to be a blowout. I believe is this the Sunday night game? Is that what it
Uh,
was?
yes, it is Sunday night, the 7:20,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. I don't under I haven't heard if this got flexed, but I don't understand how this made Sunday night. There's so many better games to choose.
Our
I'd
game is
rather
better.
watch I'd rather watch that Chargers Raiders game.
Chiefs,
Chiefs
Bengals.
Bengals.
I'm trying to tell
Yeah,
you.
like we can start picking some games to choose. That
I didn't even
Dolphins 49ers
look.
game would have been
I was
great.
just gonna say that in one under the radar game I would have picked. I would have picked that Commanders Giants. That could have
Yeah,
been a good Sunday night. I'm trying to tell
Commanders
you.
Giants would have been great for Sunday night.
Bernacker, dude. Oh
Yeah,
my
underrated
goodness.
Sunday night potential in that game.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And yet we're stuck with the Cowboys and the Colts. How do the Colts get prime time?
How I thank you. Because I was about to say, like, after a certain point in the season, if I'm producers of these shows and networks, I'm looking at your schedule. Please, how y'all? Please, if you got more than 3 losses, you shouldn't even be in primetime football. Four at the max. Let me say that. Four at the max.
Yeah, give them
Because
a
at
little
this
breathing
point,
room.
you got at least 7 wins if you got 4 losses. At least 7 to 8 wins at this point. You can be in prime time. Like, but
Right.
the Indianapolis Colts, are you serious? It's the Jeff, like I said, Jeff Monday is put or whatever his name is,
Saturday.
dude.
It's
Sat
Saturday.
whatever weekend it is, whatever day. That's the
Mr.
only reason why
Weekend.
they're there. Like Mr. Weekend, apparently is what they wanted. The Colts are 4-7-1, ladies and gentlemen, and let's not forget that the few of these wins just come recently. So let's not. They shouldn't be here. They shouldn't
No,
be facing an 8-3 Dallas team in prime time. They just shouldn't
Sunday
be. It's
night.
a travesty. It's a travesty to the Dallas Cowboys, who in the first time, and I would say in 14 years, are looking like an actual contender.
They could. They've got the defense.
But it sounds like we're on the same page though. We're both
Yeah.
going
Oh,
Dallas.
easily,
Side
easily.
note aside. Yeah. I'm almost wearing Dallas colors right now. Side note
Good.
aside.
Me too. Actually, like
Right,
what?
that's what I'm saying. Side notes. And the Monday night slate we got here, we got the New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And per the comment earlier, if you would have directed that toward a dude with the beard, I'd have told you Tampa Bay is winning this game this weekend, and they're gonna make it to the bowl. I was gonna touch on it earlier. Tom Brady has one last job, and that's to lose to Patrick Mahomes in this Super Bowl and to pass the torch to the greatest to ever do it. And we're going to see the fruition of Pat Mahomes' career, hopefully, enjoyably for the next 15 years, 20 years of our lives. You'll be experiencing this greatness. But in this game, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They lost the game to a scrappy Browns team. Can't argue with that. Solid running game. Like I said it 4 or 5 weeks ago. Tampa Bay, like I said, they could lose almost 7, 8 games and still make the playoffs. And guess what? They're still winning their division and they're 5-6. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Mr. KC, who you got going into this one?
Oh, another ugly one. Oh, this is unbelievable to see. How does this get Monday night game? Yeah, I'm gonna ride with Tampa Bay. Not because I'm from Tampa, but simply because the Saints are boo boo. Like, and
Gosh.
the Buccaneers haven't been much better in my opinion, but they're not that bad. They're not the Saints bad.
And see,
Like you can be bad, but you can't be that bad. You
not to
know,
cut you off, Miss K, I gotta touch on what you heard what he said, folks. Ta I agree with what you just said 100%. The Saints are just that bad. Tampa Bay is they're okay. They're not that good, like he said, but they're not that bad. We're talking
right?
about a rear view mirror team. Mr. Casey, keep going. I'm sorry. I just had
Yeah,
to let the
oh, you're
folks know
good.
the science you're
I'm,
dropping here. Like, go
I'm
ahead.
just, I'm just gonna give a final little quote, and that's Tampa Bay can be a lot of things in life, but you won't ever call them the Saints. So let's go Tampa Bay on this one.
Oh, oh, that's a for sure right on. I can't lie about it. I can't hate on it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for this week's picks. I said that's so country picks. It's the Louisiana
Here,
and me and the Georgia. The Southern's busting out. Um, I just can't wait for this action. Let me just say that this week, like I said, we have so many low key slobber knockers. Expect some live reactions. Like it's gonna go down. But next, folks, you know what we got coming. The most anticipated segment in all of sports media. We have the Bold Seven, the top teams in the NFL. And as tradition, because I am a gentleman, I'm going to let Mr. KC bless us with his top seven. We're going to hear the changes this week, maybe, or we're going to see
maybe.
where it lies. Either way, it's going to be a good time. Mr. KC, who do you have?
Yeah, and I feel we're kind of stagnant this week. I feel like my picks were pretty similar last week. That's
Mm,
number one. Just like everybody else is calling them. This isn't Homer time. This is the Chiefs time, just like everybody else. And while I'm a Chiefs fan and I'm going to yell and scream during this one, they're number one.
exactly.
Number number two, staying with Miami Dolphins. They won last week, keeping them at my two spot. I think they got that solid offense. Pay attention to them Fins. Fins gonna win again. Number three, the Philadelphia Eagles. After they lose to the Titans this week, I can finally start moving them back a little bit. Not too much. Just out of that
Just a
number 3
scotch.
spot.
Just a
Yeah.
scotch.
Number 4. This team isn't going to make that dudes with the beards list. So this is kind of a spoiler
I
alert.
know good and well.
It's Buffalo Bills.
Oh my
Look, this team is
God.
legit. It's there. I know he doesn't agree, so I'm just gonna.
wait for them
I'm not
guys
even
to make
gonna.
the
I'm not
offs.
even gonna give all the reasons
I can't
besides
even.
they
Because
deserve to be
because
here.
ladies and gentlemen, because once they don't make the offs, y'all gonna see me on this show demand an apology live from Mr. KC
And
and
I'll give it.
everybody. He said, "No, I'll give it." Like, oh,
I'll give it.
but this is his boast. That, like I said, I was waiting to hear it. I knew they was coming.
Yeah, he knew they were gonna be on my list, just like I knew they're not gonna make it this week. They're not. I can see it.
What was it?
Number 5, them boys. Give me them boys.
Ooh.
That defense is so elite. Jeez Louise. When do we get to talk about elite defenses? There's not any teams I'm yelling about besides these Cowboys defense.
Dude, they're legit.
Oh, number 6.
Egypt.
The Minnesota Vikings.
Number
Kings of the North.
6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kings of the North, number 6.
Ooh.
Oh, solid team. Probably deserve to be slightly higher. You can almost switch them with the Bills in this situation.
Shit.
And probably wouldn't be
Switch
too mad about it.
Switch them with.
Go
ahead.
Number 7, the final team. And I can't believe we have another NFC East team on my list. This is number 3. Three of them in the top 7, folks.
Dial
The
them
New
up.
York Giants.
Dial them up.
I've got them winning this week.
NFTs, baby.
Actually, you know what? I need to make a correction. I mean, Crow.
Oh Lord. Uh-oh.
I'm gonna take the Giants off the list. I'm sorry, New York fans. I'm gonna go 49ers. Solid team.
Argue with that. And
Solid
they're not
team.
Bills. Okay.
Still gonna lose this week to the Dolphins, and they'll fall back off my list. But until then, give me the Dolphins or the Niners.
Mr. KC, your list is so controversial.
Oh, this says the man that doesn't have Buffalo on the list.
Who is Buffalo? Who is that?
That's the Canadian team. They play hockey.
Oh, okay. Folks, let's just dive right into it. Let's set the record on my end. The number 1 team in football. It's no surprise. Look behind Mr. Casey. Could you put your head to the left? Put your head to the left. You see that jersey? You see the jersey on my left there, and then on my right. Hall of Famers, GOATs at their position. How do you have 2 GOATs on one team? You go to Kansas City. Kansas City is the best team in football, hands down. Number 1 team. There's nothing to even talk about. There's nothing to mention. There's nothing to even discuss. The second best team in the NFL is the Kings in the North, the Minnesota Vikings. They're 9-2, ladies and gentlemen. They have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the best team in the NFC. Granted, whatever Philadelphia's done. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just move on because we'll jump right into it. My third best team in football is the Dallas Cowboys. The defense is too legit. The offense has been making strides. They are, like I said, I just said it a few minutes ago. In 14 years, when have you ever seen a contending Cowboys team until it was 2022? You haven't. Stop playing.
That Tony Romo TO connection was kind of nice.
No. That's my teammate. That's my quarterback. I'm
This is my quarterback.
That's my co-host. That's my co-host. That's my friend.
That's my defense.
Man, no. Dallas Cowboys, number 3. The fourth best team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles. And, and it's off of strength and reputation alone. They have the most wins in the NFL with the fewest losses. It's amazing to me how, unless it's Kansas City, I don't see how, besides the list that I'm painting right now, how you would have them any other spot than 4, because these other 3 teams are legit. Number 5, the Miami Dolphins, right where they should be. The second best team in the AFC. I'll give them that. The second best team in the AFC. Second best. Yeah. Because and another Missouri thing I like to talk about, because we talk about Kansas City, we go up 4 hours up I-70 to St. Louis to my boy Nelly. Yeah, yeah, okay. 2 is not a winner. you know, y'all know y'all the second best team. 2 is not a winner, and I want to talk about 3 because nobody remembers. Let's move on. Fifth best team is the Miami Dolphins. The sixth best team in all of football is the San Francisco 49ers. They are the Chiefs of the NFC. By far the most talented team in the NFC as far as talent's concerned at every level. The Vikings have the best wide receiver in football. Like I could touch on it. It'll take all night. We could talk about it, why I feel the way I feel. The 49ers are the Chiefs in the NFC. Why you think they made the Super Bowl, not in 3? Like I said, they always talk about how, and this is just a moment I give. Shout out to my boy Frank. Frank. The Chiefs made the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl. We beat San Fran. Bam. But San Fran was still in the Super Bowl. It don't diminish where they was at when they lost, even though they lost. But they were
Ahead for
still
like
there.
3/4 of the game or so.
And you see what I'm saying? Almost won the Super Bowl, even though almost don't count. Two's not a winner. But right now they're the sixth best team in all of football. And my seventh best here, and it's gonna be a shocker. It's gonna be a shocker to a lot of people. Cause I ain't never put this team in the rankings before. And this is the first time I'm doing it. The seventh best team in the NFL right now. I'm basing off of runs, I'm basing off of wins, basing off the equity. The Washington Commanders are the seventh best team in football. Any given Sunday, you do not want to play the Washington Commanders. And I don't care who you have at quarterback because they have the scrappiest team in the NFL. And not only are they scrappy, they're putting the wins together. The seventh best team in football, ladies and gentlemen, Washington Commanders.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I was not expecting that. That was I'm sitting down and I still about fell over, folks. Look, this is bold predictions. That's all we can
Yeah.
say. That's all I'm going to say. This is bold predictions podcast. That's the kind of thing you get here. I can't yell at him. I can't be mad at him. It's his list. He can do what he wants. He a grown man, and I don't understand it. But uh, did you have the Vikings on your list? Did I miss it? Did I
Number
miss that
two.
part? Two.
Number
Okay,
two.
okay,
Number
okay.
two.
I got to about number 4 or 5, and I was like, wait a minute.
Number
I
two.
don't.
Kings
I
of the
didn't.
North.
Okay, okay, okay. I wanted to clarify for my personal deaf self on this segment. I wanted to make sure that they made the list.
Oh, for sure. Kings of the North.
Yeah, I mean, we've both been pretty high on them. I'd say you've been a little captain of this team between the two of us, but yeah, I was about to be disappointed.
Yeah, no, that's not a reality where they're not on my list. They're doing it.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Ladies
a
and gentlemen,
reality where you can put them on anybody's not top 7.
how could you not? Because if not, you're not watching football. No matter how much you want to hate on the
Yeah.
schedule. Like I said, the amount of hate that the Vikings receive, Philadelphia don't get none of that, and they had the weakest schedule in the NFL. But we'll
Look,
talk about that
Kirk
another
Kirk
time.
won a primetime game this year.
And what we always used to say about him, what I say, he moved himself from 15 to 10. Tell me Kirk
Right?
Cousins ain't the 10th best quarterback in the NFL. Mr.
He,
KC.
he's in there. He's in the top 10.
Y'all see that, ladies and gentlemen? How far Kirk Cousins has moved in the span of this season? Stop playing. Like I said, you seen him on the plane with the chains. Stop playing with Kirk Cousins, man.
Man. And that had to be
Man,
a good feeling for that man, you
dude,
know?
for real, family man out here doing it, getting it in, making
Right?
millions of dollars, having tons of kids.
All guaranteed contract too. But
Man, all
first
guaranteed
first one to get it, man. No one like
in
him, man.
history.
Yeah.
Trendsetter. You see what I'm saying? You can hate if you want to, but you're wasting your time. That's how I always tell people. Next we got on the slate for y'all folks. We're gonna get into a little playoff picture situation here. A lot of teams are on the bubble. A lot of teams are quote unquote in the hunt because ain't nothing solidified yet. Even though we see how this thing gonna shake here. And um, as far as playoff predictions, Mr. KC, you want to start with the NFC or AFC?
Well, since we're homers, we should probably go AFC.
Okay,
We know which teams matter to us.
right. And just to not even state the obvious, folks, the winners of the AFC West are obviously going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. More
Right.
than likely, the number one seed in the AFC general. That's always shaken out to being in the last 2 years, even in the playoffs. We might go in number two, but the Titans are so bums they'll choke it up, and then we end up number one. It's always the Arrowhead Invitational. It always ends up in Kansas City. It's almost inevitable. In the AFC East, I got the Dolphins.
You're gonna say it. Yeah, finally.
The
Finally.
Dolphins winning.
Can't get you on the
I'll give you that.
bandwagon.
No,
Yeah.
but they'll win the division. Yes, because I just firmly believe that the Bills won't. So
Right.
I'm willing to pick the Dolphins. In the AFC South here, you have to go with the Titans almost just because
Is it the
nobody else has
Titans?
proved. Is it though? That's what I'm saying. There's a lot, folks. Right now, this is preliminary because the AFC South is up in smoke. It could go anyway. This thing, the Titans have still Ryan Tannehill, uh, a hit and miss Derrick Henry. Beginning of the season he on, but it seems like every time he run into that prime time Kansas City, it always taper off after that. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
it's just what it is. Uh, AFC North, which I thought was going to be the slobber knocker of the division, of the conference, is going to be Baltimore. It's always been Baltimore, even though I love the Steelers and this season in particular, not in general, but it's Baltimore. It's always going to be Baltimore. Wild card slots, I don't have the Bills there. If folks was looking for them, they're not going to be there. I have either if it's going to be another AFC East team, it's going to be either the Jets or the Patriots.
Yeah, I see Buffalo making a wild card spot. I have trouble not seeing them sneak into the playoffs. The real question after that becomes who is going in with the Bills? It's
I got your answer for that.
who's on the bubble? Who's right there? Because you get three wild card teams, so it's you got a lot of openings. So I think the Bills got to sneak in.
I don't. I
It's
think
too
it's
much
gonna be
talent.
not enough. I think it's gonna be the Jets sneaking in a wild card. It's gonna be the Bengals, and I think another team that's on the bubble. Matter of fact, honestly, they still have a shot. It could be either if they can find a way. This is a matter of fact. Let me give you my original pick before I give you my speculation pick. It'll be the Patriots. Like I said, it's another AFC East team. But if not, it could be either Jacksonville sitting right now 4-7 because the AFC South is so terrible, or it could very well be the Chargers. It could be. It
It
could
it
be.
could be the Chargers. The Raiders could sneak in still. They're
No,
they're
they got
just
too many losses. They
they're
already had.
right outside the bubble. They'd have to win this. They'd have to win pretty much
They're already at
throughout.
7 losses, aren't they? They had to. Yeah, they'd have to win straight out.
Yeah,
He
they'd
still
have
got to
to
play Kansas
really
City
start getting it.
again. He still got to play Kansas
Yeah,
City. So that's another loss. So that's at least 8 losses already.
Yeah, well, I know the last game is versus Kansas City. It's the last game of the season, so you might have a benched Patrick. You know, a couple guys rested.
Chad Henne will get it done.
Yeah, Chad Henne could too.
Chad,
He
anything is
really could.
possible. If he can beat
Anything.
the Browns in the playoffs, he can. Anything is possible.
Yeah, it truly is. It's crazy to think
It's
about.
crazy. You see what I'm saying? I have so much confidence, not even in Pat, even and he's the guy. I have so much faith in Andy Reid in this system that if Kurt Heineke, I say Kurt Heineke. I'm thinking about Washington. If if Chad Henne had to come in, I'm not even worried about it. I'm not even worried about it because even the young dude we got, Bouchel, dude, he
Mhm.
was slick, bro. I
Yeah,
think we got some guys who's ready, dude, and I love it. But I still don't see the Bills making the offs. We'll see. Let's move on to the NFC. Or no, I'm sorry. What's your AFC picks? I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm actually pretty much right there with you. We can move on to the NFC. I think we're both pretty much on the same page. There's a little bit left to shake out in the wild card spot, especially on that seventh seed this season. But you know, you're starting to run out of time, so it'll be interesting to see.
Now, we talking about NFC. We'll just start with the NFC East. And ladies and gentlemen, I know the Eagles are winning this division as of right now, but I just really think that the Cowboys are going to win this division.
Ooh,
They got another game to play against the Eagles. The Eagles are probably going to lose this weekend. Maybe. Let you tell it. You see what I'm saying? So that's one
right.
more game that they're up. And you know what I'm saying? One more game closer. You can split the series with them. They could easily be a NFC East winner. What do you think?
Yeah,
Who
I
you
would
got?
actually go. I'm thinking it's the Eagles. The Eagles all the way.
Yeah,
They just got too much of a head start.
think so.
Yeah,
It could be. We got a lot. I mean, we got semi a lot of football left. So
yeah.
we're gonna
Them
see.
boy fans are gonna be happy though. They're gonna like to hear that they could
Oh,
still win the division.
I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are gonna beat them in their next one. Matter of fact, don't the Eagles got a? Well, no, do they play the Commanders again?
I'm not 100% sure.
I had to see. Well, no, they ain't in the same division. I had to see. But moving on here, the Kings of the North. We know where that's going. That's
Yep,
Minnesota. It's
we
locked
crowned them week one, and we've been right the whole time.
right the whole time. Like I said, I already knew what time it was. We knew. The NFC West here. My original pick was the Rams, but they've proven to not want to play football this season. So it's definitely going to the Niners. The Chiefs of the NFC happens to be in the West just like us. Who you got in that division, Mr. KC?
I think it's the Niners. I had originally picked the Cardinals, but I forgot that Call of Duty comes out every year, so that's not gonna happen. And I like the Niners
Yes,
for the
sir.
West.
And moving on to the trashiest division in the NFC, the NFC South. And ladies and gentlemen, you already know where I'm going with this because, like I said, the Super Bowl representative is coming from the NFC South this year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers to lose to Pat in the Super Bowl. They are going to win the NFC South, and there's never been a doubt in my mind. Mr. KC, who you got going into this one, this division,
The,
man?
the NFC South, dear Lord. Well, to begin the season, I picked the Panthers. The Panthers could still win the division. Um, uh, I like your pick with Tampa Bay. I feel like it fits the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna ride with the Panthers. I'm gonna go back to my original pick. They're gonna upset everybody and somehow, some way do this.
Look at that, y'all. Okay. Okay. Well, if that's who you got. That's who you got. I can't argue
Yeah,
with
I
that.
don't know why.
My three wild card teams, ladies and gentlemen. First one's the Philadelphia Eagles. Like I said, I just believe Dallas is going to win that division somehow, some way. Second team I got is the New York Football Giants. because the divisions, like I said, they're just too good not to be in the offs. Football is better when they're back. And this last one I had trouble with because Geno Smith could take the Seahawks to the playoffs, but at the same time, Heineke could take these Commanders to the playoffs, and they're 7-5. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm inclined to say that Washington is getting that other wild card spot. I have to go with the Commanders. I just have to. I've been riding with them. It doesn't make no sense for me not to now. Mr. Casey, who you got wild card coming out?
I'm the exact same. I'm the exact damn same. How do we have three NFC East teams talking playoffs?
Dude, because they're
Oh my!
stacked.
Oh, all four. It's not even three.
All
Excuse
four,
me.
yes, sir. I'm saying
Excuse me,
all four, yes, sir.
folks. This is not apple juice. I made a mistake. Um, it's all four,
All
and we're
four,
really looking at all four NFC East teams making the playoffs.
yes.
And I would not have put a single red penny on that to begin this season. And I agree with you. If it's not Commanders or the Giants or somebody, it's got to be the Seahawks.
It's gotta be. How could it not? You feel like goodness gracious. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could have been that bold to begin the season, you know? Jeez, how does this happen?
Narrative, you know what it is. Plot armor
Oh,
storyline.
every last one of them.
Dude, I'm trying to tell you.
Let's
Well,
talk a little MVP. Let's talk a little MVP.
oh, we can do that. There's really nothing to talk about. It's Patrick Mahomes' award to lose at this point. You see the jersey over my shoulder. It's Patrick Mahomes to lose. He's the best player in the NFL for the last 4 years in a row, consistently.
Yeah,
Um, the way the importance, if we're really weighing it on MVP, the importance of Patrick Mahomes on the Kansas City Chiefs is most vital in all of the NFL. And that's what makes him the MVP, is the most valuable, not the most winningest, not all that, even though he is all of that, even
he
though he
is.
leads
Yeah,
the
he
league in
checks all the other boxes
touchdowns
too.
and yards. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he's by far the most valuable player in the NFL. Any team would take him.
Yeah,
Even if but I would put every penny I had on it. If Buffalo had a chance to trade Josh Allen to get Patrick Mahomes, I guarantee you they would do it. They would do it without even thinking about it. Send every first round pick and second pick for the next 4 years
with Josh Allen.
with Josh Allen. Like
Yep.
there's no doubt about it in my mind. It's Patrick Mahomes' award to lose. Tyreek Hill's having like unless Tyreek Hill somehow gets 2,500 receiving yards, like or something we've never seen. So it has to be something unprecedented for Patrick Mahomes not to win it. And then not then might maybe not even then because like I said this year I paid him to go for 6,000 yards. He's on pace almost for 6,000 if he can get a couple 500s in. But dude, it's Patrick Mahomes' award to lose. Who you got, Mr. KC?
Yeah, I'm also there with you on Pat Mahomes. I just want to touch on a couple of the other candidates real quick because it seems like the other front runners are going to be Hurts and Tua.
Your boy. Yeah.
And I can understand Hurts. Okay, I understand it. He's had a great season. Obviously, nowhere near Pat Mahomes' season, but he's had a very winning season, and it's changed that Eagles franchise kind of season. You know, I wouldn't have predicted him to have been this high this year, so you can kind of see that Hurts argument. But where I have trouble with is the Tua argument
I'm trying to
because
tell you.
I understand his numbers are up there. You know, if he didn't miss a couple games, he would have a little more solid numbers and whatnot, a little more contention with Mahomes. But I really got to give that credit to Tyreek Hill. I know that's kind of a homer take, and I'm a huge Tyreek Hill fan, so that kind of jades things a little bit. But I will say, if you take out Hill, That's not the same offense.
It's
And
not.
Tua isn't excelling like he is. So I think it's kind of disrespectful to Hill to have Tua above him. And if we're going to mention wide receivers like Hill, I think we got to mention Justin Jefferson too.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, I know it's a quarterback award. It's not going to go to anybody else. But Jefferson has made Kirk Cousin a top 10 quarterback,
He
just
has.
like just like Hill did to Tua,
He
you
has.
know. And it's sad that we can't have a real legitimate conversation about a JJ Jefferson or a Hill or maybe even a defensive player like
I
Chris
about to say you,
Jones,
dude. I was just gonna say, what's the boy from Dallas?
Parsons.
Parsons. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. He should still be. Yeah. Why is he not a front runner?
He
You
should
know,
be.
if I'm not giving it to Mahomes, I would
Instead,
strongly look at Parsons.
you
He's
got
got
to.
to be better than Hurts.
Dude. He's so vital to that defense. Like he's literally the quarterback of the defense. Like
Yeah. If
it's
there's one defender I could add to the Chiefs team, he
dude.
would be,
He would be the one.
yeah,
He would be the
easily.
one.
Should be
Not
his.
even without a thought. Either
Yeah.
him or I say Patrick Surtain Jr. I still feel like that's a
Yeah.
big. I still feel like that's the guy we should. Oh my God, we
I
should.
like Sauce Gardner too. Wouldn't
I do
mind
too.
adding him.
No, hell, of course. But
Yeah, especially with a McDuffie. Ooh, starting to look like a defense out there.
starting
You
to look
know,
like it,
Pat Mahomes might not get complete garbage. He might have a little. Imagine, imagine Mahomes with a top five defense.
man.
Mm,
Mm.
mm,
I already know they don't want us to do it because we got the number one offense with the replacements, Keanu Reeves and them, and
yeah,
now, yeah, they
right.
couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it.
Jeez.
Uh,
You know, what do you think about OBJ? Let's talk OBJ for just 1 second.
man,
Where's he going?
I don't know. I was leaning toward Dallas. If he's smart, he'd come to Kansas City if the offer's still on the table.
If he wants a
Because
ring,
if you want a ring and you want significant time to play, because clearly we,
right?
like I said, we wide receiver by rotation. We'll bring you in. We'll give you all the stuff if you're ready. But don't say
Right.
you're not. Don't say you're ready and then not be. That's the only thing. We don't play that. We got history of letting folks go, or not even letting them play. Like I said, talking about they ready and they not. So we'll see though. I think Dallas would be a good fit for him, but I think Kansas City would be a good fit for
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, because it's not a, maybe Buffalo or something. But I don't think Buffalo's been high on his list either. You know, that's not a place you want to go play in December and January. It's cold. Not even kind of cold. It's extra cold. That's Canada. You're talking about like Canadian weather. You don't want to play in there.
him. No, because my thing is, if that's the case, you can go back to New York.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of that talk too. You know, it'd be nice to see him go back to the Giants.
He could make him. He could help him make a strong push. As long as, like I said, as long as he don't go to Buffalo or nowhere else in the AFC that's in serious contention, unless it's Kansas City, one less
Yeah.
problem to deal with. And that's just assuming he comes back healthy. Because I just keep thinking about somehow some upset happened. Maybe a Bengal receiver don't come back. He end up in Cincinnati on some crazy stuff. Who knows? Hopefully not. Maybe not. But you know how this thing is shake.
Yeah. And like you said, I think there's a lot of questions about what he has left in the tank, really, because he's been a high quality wide receiver his whole career, but it's a hard injury to come back from, and you haven't seen him come back from it.
Right. No, that goes without saying, dude. ACL, serious business. So
Hmm.
we'll just have to see. Like I said, I mean, when he come back for it, I still think he might be adequate enough, but we'll just have to see, folks. Just have to leave it at that.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
still mad we didn't get in Dominican, but that's a conversation
yeah.
later too.
That's who I really, man. I
Yeah.
really wanted to.
I know we've been advocating for it all season. I don't know what
It
happened.
ju- yeah, it just made so much sense too. I don't get it.
We'll see what they say in Veach we trust. So we'll
Right.
see
Yeah,
on
that's all
that
we
end.
can do.
Yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, dude, we're about an hour and 15 minutes in. We've covered everything. The
Right.
bold seven, the picks of the week, MVP talk, playoff talk, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking for the information, look no further. It's right here. We giving it to you raw, straight up truth. What they say, straight to the gullet. Take it on down, however you got to do it. This is the place to be. And as usual, we so grateful and so appreciative of y'all being here. Um, we got more segments coming up. Like I said, just more coming, dude. Just more coming. Mr. KC, you got anything you want to say to the folk?
Yeah, just make sure you check out that Saturday show. We talk all kinds of sports out there. I know the Wednesday show is it's all NFL. You
Solid.
know, obviously we're huge football fans. The Saturday show has NBA, World Cup,
Man,
uh,
wrestling.
wrestling,
All that.
UFC, boxing. We talk everything. It's a slightly shorter show, but it's a lot of entertaining games like King of the Hill, Pillow Talk. We get a
Yes.
little trash talk segment.
Yes,
It's
sir.
it's it's a fun show. I enjoy it a lot.
Yes, sir. It's one of the best times of the week. Like I said, y'all come and just give us a little bit of your Saturday. Like I said, y'all always been showing up for us. You show up on Saturdays too. Like I said, just mess with us before y'all go out, before y'all hit the party. Come on, and then you gotta end up at the party, give people some best tips. Who knows
Right.
what hell's gonna happen?
We
But like,
pregame with you.
yeah, we pregame with you. Come holler at us. We'll get you going. Like I said, we're so appreciative of y'all being here for us being able to do what we able to do. And like I said, if y'all wasn't coming here, we wouldn't be doing it. And we're just appreciative of everything. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. It's about 7 times I said it, but just let you know how serious I am. So this is the Bold Prediction Sports Podcast Media. This is week 13 of the NFL. We got some slobber knockers coming. You got live reactions coming. Got live wrestling news coming. AEW, WWE, all of that. We're gonna do it all. He's Mr. KC from the A13. I'm that dude with the beard. This is your MVP. This is your offensive player of the year.
No
Let's do it.
lies.
The
Woo.
boldest that you could ever get. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, folks. There's so much truth that ain't even funny.
Ain't even funny.